Okay, just popped up on my feed.
And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was badass. For this list,
Watch Mojo,
some of the most memorable moments in
and
the career of this U.S. representative.
I don't mean this in a disrespectful way because I've seen what she did to the last guy that said it in a disrespectful way. But Ronda Rousey used to be the baddest bitch on the planet. Now she is. For these reasons.
Assumed office in January of 2019, and since then has become a.
Why isn't she running for president?
I spoke with Mr. Obed today over the phone. He and air traffic controllers like him across the country missed their first paycheck this past week.
But her very first speech on the House floor was a remarkable one, as she showed the sort of representative she was going to be for her constituents. The speech actually broke records on C-SPAN's Twitter, amassing 1.6 million views in just a few hours.
And it is terrifying to think that almost every single air traffic controller in the United States is currently distracted at work because they don't know when their next paycheck is coming.
In her statement,
a lot of stuff she does, she just points out the obvious. Like having people that flies planes distracted is bad.
The truth is, this shutdown is about the erosion of American democracy and the subversion of our most basic governmental norms.
Number 9, her speech at the Women's Unity Rally.
Watch Mojo, go check it out. But yeah, she can make speeches. She looks good doing it. Not like that matters. But if you look at the presidential history through the history, the presidents that look good were the best presidents. Kennedy, he's a supermodel, and he was one of the best. Obama, fine as hell, one of the best. Bush, not one of the best, not one of the best looking. Trump, he's an orange, a racist orange. So I don't know why that correlation works, but it does work.
New to her role at this point, she was already making iconic quotes, saying, quote,
"Justice is about making sure that being polite is not the same thing as being quiet."
Damn straight, girl.
In fact, oftentimes the most righteous thing you can do is shake the table.
We worked on President Trump's legal team, appeared in front of the House Government Reform and things we love the most about AOC is how relatable she is. And in this speech, we were able to identify with her even more.
That
she still has
burning the federal thing is not one of my favorites. This is good.
Is that you are not old enough or responsible enough to drink. You are not old enough or responsible enough to vote. You are not old enough or responsible enough to serve in our military. But you are old enough and responsible enough to take on $250,000 worth of debt.
Yeah, that's the one reason that's one of the few reasons I'm glad I was not smart enough to go to college. I couldn't get a college debt because I couldn't get in. Of course, now I can only do basic jobs, but that's more shit I was born with than shit I couldn't fight. And I still fought it.
Doing something that was nearly impossible, being the youngest woman in American history elected to Congress, to have a chance
and the first woman president.
Not something that can be
I can read the future.
Because in order for me to get a chance to have health care, in order for me to get a chance to pay off my student loans, I had to do something that was nearly impossible. And I don't think that that is the bar through which a person should be able to access education, health care, and a bevy of other things.
Who could touch her on the election thing?
This is not an elitist issue. This is a quality of life issue.
Like the presidential debate, who could touch her if she really wanted to?
Clean air and clean water is elitist.
Along with being introduced by AOC, along with Senator Edward J. Markey, the Green New Deal sparked discussions on the future of climate change in the United States.
Yes, it's not elitist to want our children not to die.
fossil fuels as well as
or
greenhouse
not
gas
to
emissions
drink
was a
plastic,
elitist one.
or not to drown in a random flood that happens every other year, or burn in a random forest fire that's been happening more and more everywhere.
With her trademark fiery passion, Ocasio-Cortez came back at the critics.
And she's a badass queen. Look at how she fights.
And Flint, Michigan, to prove that it was actually lower-income populations who would be the greatest beneficiaries of this plan.
This is serious. This should not be a partisan issue. This is about our constituents and all of our lives. Iowa, Nebraska, broad swaths of the Midwest are drowning right now.
Number 5, taking on President Trump.
Well, you know, the president is from Queens, and with all due respect,
I love
my
this.
district is from Queens. I don't think he knows how to deal with a girl from the Bronx.
AOC spends a lot of her time
Badass.
focusing on Donald Trump. But when she does comment on him or defends herself after an attack, she does not hold back. Anderson Cooper asked if she thought Trump was a racist, and she quickly responded in the affirmative, backing up her claim with a wealth of examples.
The president certainly didn't invent racism, but he certainly
Yeah, he gave the neo-Nazi
expanded it.
fuckers